Welcome to another episode of Pathways to Our Past, or PP for short. Isn't that right, Travis?
That's correct.
Today we're at Gibraltar Rock Natural Area and State Ice Age Trail Area in Columbia County between Lodi and Merrimack, Wisconsin. And we're going to hike about 7/10 of a mile up to a 200-foot tall rocky butte. And we'll talk a little bit more about it once we get to the top, and we'll show you the trail on the way up. So we've reached our first point of interest. This here is an old asphalt road that was originally installed so people could drive up to the butte, but they've since fenced it off and used it as a hiking trail to hike back up to the butte, since it's not exactly environmentally friendly to have people driving cars up there all the time. And then we also have a junction with the Ice Age Trail. And the Ice Age Trail is a approximately 2,000 mile trail that goes through Wisconsin from like one corner up to all the way through the middle and up to another corner that follows the path of glaciers during the Ice Age, and it is almost entirely maintained by volunteers and an organization called the Ice Age Trail Alliance. And you can see these yellow markers on the trail, like on the tree there, that indicates that you're actually on the Ice Age Trail. So if you're backpacking or hiking it, that can help you help show you the way you need to go, so you stay on that trail. So we're going to hike up this road up to the actual Gibraltar Rock, to the butte. Like I said before, it's about 7/10 of a mile, and it's got a moderate incline. But for average person, it's not too bad. It's a little strenuous. And so this park was originally founded in the 1920s, 1927, by Jens Jensen, who was an architect. And in the 20s, he formed an organization called Friends of Our Native Landscape. And in 1927, the group purchased this land, and they established a park called Richmond Park, which was named after a family that had settled here in the 1800s. But this park became a state natural area in 1969, and it was run by Columbia County up until 2007, when it was turned over to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. So once we get to the top, I'll talk a little bit more about the rock itself and the view. But for now, me and Travis are going to hike our way up. We're not to the top yet, but we noticed that the mist in the trees looks really pretty, so we're going to give you a shot of that. It's a bit of a rainy day today, so we've got this kind of cloudy mist and some rainfall in the trees, and it just looks really pretty. So we decided to give you a few shots of it. Isn't that right, Travis?
You bet.
We've reached the top, and we found a plaque commemorating the Richmond Park that I was talking about earlier, before it became Rocks of Gibraltar State Natural Area. And like I said before, we're up top of a 200-foot high rocky sandstone butte, and the layers were formed by a massive sea that used to be here and left layers of sand that hardened into rock, and then there was other layers of rock that developed on top of the sandstone, so there's a hard dolomite cap that prevents the sandstone underneath from eroding. And usually there's a really beautiful view up here, but we picked a very misty, rainy day, so we probably won't get a good shot of the view. But we're 200 feet up from the ground, and we're 1,246 feet above sea level, and there are no guardrails here or fences or anything. So if you do come here, especially on a day like today where it's slippery and wet, be very careful going out on the rocks. People have fallen and died here, but the views are spectacular. Even on a sort of misty day today, you can maybe see a little bit of it. I don't want to go too far out onto this rock because there's a straight drop off, and this rock is really wet. Plus I have a heights phobia. Sometimes, depending on the weather, you can see birds of prey like turkey vultures and certain hawks and stuff gliding around on thermals that come off of the top of the butte. It makes it easy for them to glide around. We don't really see any of those today. We see mostly mist and the shadows of silhouettes of trees in the mist. It is actually very pretty up here with the mist. And from here, we are going to walk down the backside of the trail. We should see on the backside of the bluff something called erratics, and large erratics, which are rocks left behind deposited by the last glacier that was here. So in the woods and the trees we might see some of those rocks, and I'll point them out. That's a very large bird, Travis. I don't know if we can get a good shot of it. It's in the mist there in the top of that tree. Right there in the center of the shot. It's a pretty big bird just hanging out on a tree. Might be one of those birds of prey. And then over here we have some graffiti. If you come here, please don't spray paint the rocks. It's not okay. Here we've reached the junction of the loop trail and the Ice Age trail. So there's the white indicator, that's the loop trail. So that's like just the natural areas trail that takes you up to the rock and back down to the parking lot. And then this is the Ice Age trail segment, which continues on. The entire Gibraltar segment of the Ice Age trail continues along a 9/10 of a mile connecting route, and then another 2 miles of trail to the north. The total segment in this part of the trail in the Gibraltar area is 1.7 miles, but then there's your connecting trail, and then you keep going. If you do a whole loop on the Ice Age trail segment through here, it's 3.4 miles. And the segment begins or ends, depending which direction you're going, at something called the Merrimack Ferry. And the ferry has been shuttling people across the river to Merrimack since 1848. And it operates 24 hours a day, 7 days a week when the river is not frozen. It's not the same boat since 1848. I think they've replaced it a few times, but in some form it's been running since 1848. So we're going to continue on the loop trail towards the parking lot, and we'll try and find a spot where we can do everybody's favorite segment, the premium beer review. Right, Travis? Nice view of the trees through the mist and a few of the fall colors coming in. Here's some of those rock formations left behind when the last glacier left the area. Erratics. Thank you, Travis. You're much better at remembering that than I am. We found our spot, and it is time for everyone's favorite segment, the premium beer review, where we buy cheap beer that usually uses slogans or catchphrases, prints things on the can to make the beer sound better than it actually is, and then we drink it and we review it. So today we have Ice House. It is ice brewed for a bolder taste since 1855. And there's a picture of the Plank Road Brewery on the can, which was the original brewery that Friedrich Miller founded. And yeah, this beer is courtesy of the Plank Road Brewery, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, USA. So it's owned by Miller. We got, what, 5.5% alcohol by volume. Nothing else that's alluding towards grandeur. So we'll crack her open and try her out. Whoa, I just sprayed all over my beard and my shirt. Here we go, Travis. Cheers. Hmm. I don't know if boulder taste would be the phrase I would use. It's definitely ice brewed for some sort of different taste. I don't know if I'd call it boulder. What do you think of the beer, Travis?
Not boulder. It's just a little tinny.
A little tinny, yeah. That's probably a tinnier taste. Ice brewed for a tinnier taste. It's better than some of the. I think it's better than some of the other beers we tried, what was it? Regal Brow. I think it's considerably better than Regal Brow. I also found it to be fairly nondescript and, like you said, tinny.
Yeah, a little frothy, but that could have been the foam at the top.
Yeah, frothy, but that could have been us hiking too. So, now you get to do the six-pack review of our trip today, Travis.
I give it 4.5 because the view. Well, you couldn't see it today, but the view is absolutely stunning, and it's a great place to hike. It's not too hard, just average hiking.
I will give it a 4 out of 6 ice houses. Um, the trail's kind of short. I kind of like longer hikes. The trail is a little strenuous, which is nice. Like Travis said, the view is stunning, which is like the key thing to it. And we couldn't really see it today, but I thought the mist was pretty cool. But the day we chose overall, I'd probably give that and the weather maybe three ice houses out of 6. I do like the misty, rainy day, but it kind of ruined our view.
Overall, still a good day.
Yeah, very good day. And how many beers out of the 6-pack would you give an ice house, Travis?
Uh, Probably 2.5.
2.5 out of
Not
6.
not that great to me.
And like our review of where we are today, I will take the half point off and I will go 2 out of the 6-pack on the ice house.